asked you who you think should be driver of the year, and you just shook your head at me. You said it's a tough question. What's Eddie Carrier's take? Owens, Lanigan, maybe an O'Neill? Who should it be?
Well, Lanigan's run good, and he runs good in the World Outlaw Series, and he runs good when he don't run it. And Jimmy's run good in the Lucas Series and outside of it. I mean, that would be that's the two that I think should be there, but that's a tough one to pick. I mean, both of them guys have been good all year, and they go here and win, they go there and win, but I ain't gonna make that call.
I'm forcing you to make some kind of call. You have to vote, Eddie.
Okay.
You got to pick one.
Okay.
Which one is it?
Okay, I'm gonna make my vote not off performance, but off of chassis brand, and I'm gonna have to go with Lanigan. And he's a Kentucky boy too.
You've raced against them both. If you had to pick a driver of the year right now, you know, one vote.
Whoever does best tomorrow night and Saturday night. That's what I'm saying.
I think a lot of people think this weekend's kind of a deal breaker. What are your thoughts? Who'd be number one?
My thoughts on driver of the year is obviously whoever's going to prevail this weekend. I think all those guys are good racers, obviously, and so I think they've all run in different parts of the country, and with Don and Jimmy and Daryl, all of them worked hard, and so I think whoever wins Friday night or does the best overall Friday night and Saturday night deserves it. Maybe Don, because he's standing beside me. Well, I mean, I think everybody looks at it as a point system, when they're rating the drivers, but sometimes, you'll have something break or wrecks, like Jimmy had some misfortune at Eldora, and I know Don had some misfortune at a race or so, and don't know much about Daryl because I didn't race with Outlaws very much this year. But, I think you really have to throw out some finishes maybe, if you were rating the guys, throw out their worst 5 and then rate them or something, to see what kind of year they had. So maybe that'd be my theory of doing it.
It's one of them, who really cares?
The dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway made history. The World of Outlaws sprint cars and the World of Outlaws late models joined forces for a spectacular season-ending event dubbed the World of Outlaws World Finals. As if that amazing combination wasn't enough, in 2010, the Big Block Modifieds joined the sprints and late models, bringing the world's 3 premier short track series together on one gigantic stage.
Over in turn 3. Union Kentucky's Daryl Lanigan, Scott Bloomquist on that outside. Look at the heavy-speeded drivers all throughout the field. They'll gas it up. Green's in the air. Eckert's digging to the bottom already. It's 3 wide for the lead on lap 1 and turn 1. Bloomquist in the stratosphere. Up top, it won't work. The 3 wide back for third as well. Daryl Lanigan will lead. Scott Bloomquist, Rick Eckert, Eric Wells, and Dale McDowell. A thundering herd. Out of turn 4, they'll flash across the stripe.
Thunder indeed as they come down the front stretch and into 1 and 2. It'll be Lanigan showing away with Bloomquist second. Now McDowell will try his wares underneath Rick Eckert for the number 3 spot. Likewise, Chris Smokey Madden will go after the 18 of Eric Wells. Good side-by-side battle for the number 3 spot as the 17 Emma McDowell and 24 of Eckert go at it. It's all Lanigan early. 2 in, 48 to go.
Jimmy Owens and Jason Becker going at it door-to-door over in turn 2. They're battling for the 8th position. And Timmy McCready, who just ran 40 laps in his modified, is already dancing on the top side of the racetrack. He'll swing around Vic Coffey out of 4.
Yeah, McCready right now still has the adrenaline flowing from the Super Dirt Car Series Big Block Modified race. That could actually work to his advantage. He's already up to what the car is going to do speed-wise. Over in 1 and 2, Chubb Frank in trouble in turn 1, so we slow him down at lap 4. It's up to Lanigan to fire at the VP Fuels firing line. He does. They all match the loud pedal. We go right back to dancing.
Chris Madden was looking for some daylight way down low. He'll ride in the middle now as Eric Wells zooms around him. Here comes the Newport Nightmare. Jimmy Owens will join that battle for 5th.
About 4 wide down the backstretch, and Chubb definitely has a problem. That car did not steer. The right front tucked underneath. He knows that it's wrong, and he's going to pull it to the infield. Chubb Frank has definitely got some handling issues, steering and suspension issues in that 1 star. So Chubb Frank, unfortunately, contact early on in the event. He may just take this thing off the racetrack to the pit area. And nope, he's going to give it more. Let's see what happens with the 1 star. Something is wrong with that machine.
The battles for the lead. Rick Eckert already stuck that nose of the 24 underneath Lanigan. He'll do it again out of turn 4. Meanwhile, Scott Bloomquist is dropped back to 5th. Jimmy Owens wheeling and dealing with Dale McDowell through 1 and 2. They're battling for 3rd and 4th. Eckert again looked underneath Lanigan. Lanigan will take him down into turn 3.
Rick Eckert flexing a little muscle early in this one as he showed the nose to Lanigan over in 1 and 2. Now he'll tuck back in the tire tracks and be content to ride in the runner-up spot for a little bit. How long that'll be? Well, you got to keep Lanigan in your sights because he has the occasion to where he'll be in the lead by a few car lengths. Next thing you know, he's out of sight and you're never going to catch him.
Bagger in turns 1 and 2.
We stay green flag. Lanigan, Eckert, and Owens are going to be in a hornet's nest of rush hour traffic. They are 2 and 3 wide at the back of the pack. They're all scrambling for position. Nobody has a pure concrete line for them to have an opening to get through. Speaking of openings, Lanigan had one for Eckert. Eckert about took advantage. Scrubb's got the preferred line. He may sidestep the 29 here out of 2. He'll do it.
Eckert noses in front momentarily, running the low side. They're closing up on the back markers out of turn number 4. Rick Eckert really sticking to the bottom of the track. He'll lead lap number 14 as they cross the stripe. Lanigan, a giggle and a wiggle up top, that nose of the car just moving around ever so slightly as he works the turn. He'll fall back in line. They've got company, a bad dream. Closing up out of 4, the number 20 of Jimmy Owens, the Newport Nightmare coming to life.
Owens has come out of nowhere to not only go by Lanigan and get on the rear deck lid of the 24 of Rick Eckert. Eckert has got company. Lanigan and Owens both going after the 24. Now he'll go underneath and dispatch the 1 star of Chubb Frank. Eckert 3 shy of halfway. Here comes Lanigan with a big run off of turn 2. He'll draw a bead on 24 and set him in the crosshairs over in turn 3. Owens also on the move. A little bit of contact between the 24 of Eckert and the 6 machine of Shaver. Lanigan on the outside, 3 cars under a blanket. Eckert has to shut Lanigan down. He's got 2 cars in front of him, Campanova and Smith. Lanigan to the inside of Rick Eckert. Darrell Lanigan trying to pull the trigger and reclaim the lead. It won't happen on lap 23. 2 shy of halfway, Ozzie.
Meanwhile, Chris Ferguson posted the infield in the 22 car, the kid out of Mount Holly right here in Charlotte. Done. Look at Owens working down to the turn number 3. That battle for the lead rages on. They race against the back markers, all gathered up together as they flash across the stripe.
So Darrell Lanigan reclaims the lead on lap 25 at the halfway point. But it's Eckert that takes it out of turn 2. He'll go right back to the helm, and he's chopped off the 29 of Lanigan as Don O'Neill. Well, Ross Campanova in the 18 will pull to the infield. He'll call it quits at the halfway point. Eckert has still more company. Lanigan again to the outside. Gets a good run off of 2, goes after Scrub over in 3. Jimmy Owens right there for the picking. A little further back to McDowell and Bloomquist. Wells, Madden, Francis, O'Neill, Pearson, and Fager.
Owens dives underneath Lanigan in 1, and he'll stretch away from him as he works underneath the lap car of Clint Smith. Jimmy Owens now trying to reel in race leader Rick Eckert as they exit turn 4. They'll complete lap number 28 this time by.
Ozzie, you know as well as I do, Jimmy Owens also a very strong competitor here at the dirt track.
And he's on a mission tonight. 50 laps make up the distance. And we are just past the halfway point. Dale McDowell continuing to run in the top 5, running into 4th place. Working under the lap car of Chubb Frank. Here are the leaders that get out of 4, and Jimmy Owens has it up front.
So Owens will take over on lap 30. We'll see how long he's able to hold the reins, as again, Eckert and a hard-charging Lanigan will keep him in sights. Time starting to run out now on the 17 Emma McDowell and the 0 of Bloomquist. They're losing touch with the leaders as Ken Robinson is going to make the left-hand turn to the infield. He is done on lap 31. Owens center groove, Eckert on the bottom, Lanigan on the high side. Everybody has settled down, gotten comfortable, got in a rhythm, and now they're trying to pick off spots. Jimmy Owens trying to lead both Lanigan and Eckert, and Lanigan has grabbed second from Scrub. So put Darrell Lanigan in the 2-hole. Well, maybe get the eraser out and pencil in the 24. He'll go back to second. All the while, Jimmy Owens actually starting to increase the advantage. The margin has increased just a little on that lap, so Rick Eckert better figure something out fast. Oh, Darrell Lanigan jumped the cushion, trying to get a run and have a shot at Eckert. It just didn't pay dividends. Jimmy Owens will work down for 3 to go. Rick Eckert running out of time, but not out of hope. Now Owens may seal it right here if he can get by Coffey. Coffey didn't give him much room, but Owens able to go by. The 2 to go signal. Jimmy Owens just 2 laps away from victory. Lanigan stays in 3rd. McDowell has Bloomquist on his heels now for the 4th spot. White flag in the air. 1 lap to go for Jimmy Owens. He'll stay married to the bottom of the racetrack on the final circuit. He sees Greg Satterley up ahead. He knows he doesn't have too much he has to do now. Just has to point in the right direction one more time. Winner of night number 2 of the World Finals, it's going to be the 20.
Feature winner the opening night of the World Finals, Jimmy Owens, and Jimmy starting 9th. Did you think you could come through there, 1, and get the win, but 2, get through there right after the halfway point?
I know, I was watching the consies and everything and watching the other races, and the track looked really, really racy. And, it was kind of black from top to bottom. Everybody got off the high side there, and that cushion wasn't near as dominant as what it was qualifying and stuff the other night. But I know we had the track to do it. The question was if we get the car right to be able to do it. And, we hit everything. I mean, we were hitting on all 4s and was able to bring it home.
At one point, you catch the 2 leaders, and then lap traffic kind of goes against you, and they get away from you a little bit. And were you confident you could reel them back in?
No. I mean, we were having a heck of a race there, and I was having a good time. And I was almost just like, hey, this is fun. And it's the first time I've had fun in a race car in a long time. But it was really fun. They pulled me in, like I say, was able to gather herself back up and run them back down, and was able to capitalize on it and get them into traffic. But I don't know. It was pretty good. It was a pretty good race, I guess.
Let's talk about traffic. There for a while, you have a hard time with Vic Coffey getting around him, and were you getting kind of impatient? You know the laps are ticking away, and you had to worry about maybe them trying to roll you in the middle because you couldn't get around the lap car.
Well, there toward the end, the track started locking down a little bit. It wasn't locked down totally, and I could see the guys running a cushion on the high side, but I kept watching the scoreboard there and watching the flagman, and I pretty much decided I was going to wait Coffey out there a little bit, and maybe he'd slip up and let me by him, and finally he did. But I was about to have to go to the high side, though. I was glad I didn't have to do that. But it was, it got kind of dominant on the bottom there, but it was good toward the halfway.
Let's talk about the heat, the start. From your opinion, do you feel like you jumped, or do you feel like maybe it was kind of a bad deal for you?
I think it was a bad deal. Eckert fired and then slammed on the brakes, and they called it the way they seen it. So it's all good. It's part of racing. It comes with it. It happens to everybody.
All right, final question, and I know you're going to say you don't care, but I'm going to ask you anyway. This whole top 25 thing, it's been a lot of drama, a lot of dilemma. Drivers are talking, fans are talking, who's better, you or Lanigan? You and Darrell haven't got to race together a lot, and I asked Darrell the same question last night, and he said, I want to win. He said, I want to come out here and win both nights because me and Jimmy don't get to race together a lot. How bad do you want to win? Not only you won tonight, how bad do you want to win tomorrow night, and how bad do you want to be regarded as the best driver of the year?
I'm not worried about it. We're here to win races. We're not here to beat one driver. But it's fun to have all this drama between everybody. I mean, last year it was kind of between Scott and I over the points, and this year it's Lanigan and me over the driver of the year deal, and it's really honorable and great to be in this position. And win or lose, I love it and proud to be a part of it.
Hey, one other question. Did you have to rent a Brinks truck? You took $50,000 from the Dirt Track World Championship. You get $15,000 last week in Mississippi. You win $10,000 tonight. It's been an incredible last month or so for you, and you get the Lucas title.
I think I'm going to quit points racing. We've been doing pretty good since the Lucas Oil's been done, and you can just race a lot freer. There's no stress. You can just get out there a lot harder, and you can try things, and if you hit, you hit. If you miss, you miss. Instead of got to race conservative, and you got to go with what works, what works decent instead of what might work great.
Jimmy Owens, $10,000 richer after his win here tonight in Charlotte.
A lot of answers to a lot of questions will be satisfied in 50 circuits. The green is out. The final race of 2012 is underway. We're going to start with Chris Madden up front. Eckert in second, Lanigan third. Here comes Owens. He'll flex muscle early. McDowell watching it from fifth where he was last night. Don O'Neill to the inside of McDowell for the number 5 spot. Lap 1 goes to Smokey. Now Owens, not wasting any time, will go after the 24 of Rick Eckert for second. Eckert too strong on the high side. He'll keep him at bay. Lanigan sitting patiently in fourth. O'Neill fifth. To the outside comes R.J. Conley. He'll test the waters up high. The high side hustler lives up to his moniker. And now they've broken off into 2, maybe 3 different grooves. They're going to work this racetrack from top to bottom before it's over. Madden's going to protect on the bottom. Owens sidestepped Eckert, and Owens is going after Madden. Jimmy Owens wants to sweep the weekend. Chris Madden says, well, you're going to have to work for it. Lanigan and O'Neill will battle for the number 4 spot up front. Owens showing the nose to Madden. Madden will pinch him off out of turn 4. Door back open down the front stretch. Owens is going to stay married right to the hum of the racetrack. Chris Madden will try to keep him at bay, but he can't keep the doors shut. Jimmy Owens will pull the trigger out of turn 4. Owens your leader. Madden now will be content to ride in the tire tracks of Jimmy Owens with 5 in, 45 to go. Darrell Lanigan goes top shelf. He'll close in on Rick Eckert for third. Josh Richards going to work on the Conley machine over in turn 3. Showed the nose to RJ. He can fit the car underneath him. Richards will pick up another spot. Josh Richards now in the top 10. Owens has built up a commanding 3.8 second lead. 4 cars under the proverbial blanket continue to be Madden, Eckert, Lanigan, and Don O'Neill. Jimmy Owens has caught the back markers. It's going to be Billy Decker first on Owens' hit list. McCready to the inside of Clint Smith. T-Mac trying to pick up the 7th spot. Oh, and Eckert chopped Lanigan up by the wall. Darrell Lanigan to the outside. Eckert drifted. Eckert goes after Madden. Lanigan right there. Shepard trying to gain touch with his teammate. He's about a straightaway behind. 3 wide in front of the Rocket Shep. Eckert and Lanigan side by side now for third as Owens trying to lose himself in lap traffic. Jimmy Owens working on Dennis Erb Jr., 14 in the books. Lanigan clears Eckert, goes after second place Chris Madden. Fager to the outside of Kent Robinson. Robinson trying to get the final rookie of the race for 2012. Darrell Lanigan cannot see Jimmy Owens. It's almost a half-track lead. It's up to 5.5 seconds. Owens kind of stuck right now behind the 44 of Pearson. Lanigan will try and get a little closer. He's cut it down to 4.4 seconds. 22 laps remain. It's not out of the question. Pearson is finally going to give up the battle. Owens will get by him. Lanigan can now see the 20. They're on the same straightaway. Jimmy Owens with the advantage. Still a 3.3 second lead as he works Team Zero's leader. The 29 of Lanigan is running out of time. 14 laps to go for the O-Show. Owens will go to the inside of Bloomquist. Bloomquist won't give it up easy. Lanigan working on Bubba Cool, now sets his sights on Earl Pearson. Time running out. Owens still battling with Bloomquist. Lanigan has sidestepped Pearson. It was down to 3.073 seconds and hit the wall hard with Shane Clandy. He smacked the wall. In turn 3, the caution is out, and we've got 12 laps to go. What's wrong with the Zero machine? He's called it quits with a dozen remaining. Green is out. McCready to the outside of Lanigan for second. Here comes T-Mac. He'll take the number 2 spot and set his sights on Owens. Tim McCready feeling it here tonight in the cool North Carolina air, and he has grabbed the number 2 spot. Madden and Clint Smith, a pair of 44s going at it. Chris Smokey Madden trying to take the spot away. He'll go back to 5th. 10 laps to go for Owens. McCready, Lanigan, Eckert, Madden, and they're losing sight of the 20. Lanigan has just reclaimed the runner-up spot from McCready. T-Mac will try him on the outside. Good battle for the runner-up position. Oh, trouble on McDowell. Dale McDowell comes up lame in turn 2. McDowell slow. We're going to see caution with 8 to go. 8 laps to go. Flag is in the air. Here we go. Jimmy Owens shot out of a cannon. Darrell Lanigan's going to throw it all up top. Lanigan trying to get the run off turn 2. The momentum did not carry him to the lead. He'll get in the tire tracks of Owens. Way up by the wall is the rocket ship, Brandon Shepard. Nothing to lose. He's going to throw all caution to the wind. Now McCready again will go to the bottom. Go by Lanigan. Darrell Lanigan may be out of rubber. McCready goes back to 2nd. Lanigan will answer that with a power move out of turn 2. Brandon Shepard getting in touch with his teammate. He's only 2 cars behind. 5 laps to go for Owens to sweep the weekend. Shepard goes by Walker Arthur. White flags coming out to Owens. Jimmy Owens 1 lap away from getting out the broom and sweeping the competition under the rug. He did it last night in convincing fashion. He backed it up tonight. Jimmy Owens has swept the World Finals. T-Mac will come home second.
Clean sweep of the Peak World Finals. Jimmy Owens. And Jimmy, last night it took you 29 laps to get to the lead. Tonight just 5, and once you got there, you made it look pretty easy.
The car was awesome all weekend, and the crew was awesome, and you just couldn't ask for a better weekend. It's pretty cool.
There for a while, your traveling buddy, your Earl Pearson Jr. track was starting to rubber a little bit on the bottom, and you had trouble getting past him. And kind of like last night, where you worried about lap traffic and if that was opening the door for anybody behind you.
Well, once I got as I caught Earl and them, it got kind of hard to reel them in like I was. And so I know the track was rubbering up, and I know they probably wasn't going to be able to go around me on the high side. But I was watching the guys on the high side run pretty good up there. And, it was Earl kept pushing, and finally he pushed up there and I got around him. But it was a good race. I mean, the car was great, and, I can't thank Mike Reese and just everybody enough, and, the crew. It's been a great year.
A couple of cautions around lap 38 to 40, and were you worried at all if you guys tried to blast that outside? And I'm sure you saw Darrell and then McCready even tried out there, but you stayed on the bottom when you're confident you could pull away from them.
I know when I had clean track, I know it would be hard to charge the high side harder than what I could charge the bottom. So I felt pretty comfortable, but when we get behind lap cars, they'd be throwing dirt and stuff across the track. And then when we get to the lap traffic, I was a little concerned about the high side at that time.
Jimmy, you're a humble guy, but right now, every time you get in the car for the past month and a half, we talked about it last night, you're a contender. Do you feel like right now, anywhere this team pulls into the track, that you guys have got a real good shot to go out there and win? If you do your job, the crew does their job, it just seems like you're pretty unbeatable right now.
I don't know. I don't know. But it's just, Chris and I and Kenny and all of us, we've always raced together forever and ever. And, we struggled this year and to clean the year up and not have to worry about racing them points and do what we want to do. Like all year, we've had several things we wanted to try and never really went out on a limb and tried them during the points because, we know we can run good with what we got. And then as soon as the points are open, well, let's try what we was wanting to try. And it works for us, and we're rolling pretty good right now. But, we're going to ride it while we can, and next week it may be someone else.
You had the nation watching live on Speed tonight. To have a performance like that on live TV, how big a deal is that to you?
It's pretty good. it's live, and the folks back home are probably watching and cheering us on. And I don't know, it's just pretty awesome. I mean, Scott builds a great car. They really suit us well, and just couldn't get any better. I mean, I think we've had a good year, good season, good career. Heck, I'm ready to quit.
But you're joking, clearly.
Oh yeah.
Final question: are you the best driver in the country?
We had a good weekend.
He had a good weekend. He won $20,000. He sweeps the World Finals. Jimmy Owens, your winner of night number 2 here at Charlotte.
Number 1.
He had to rally to do it, and there are some that may argue this spot is still Lanigan's. But at the end of the day, DirtOnDirt.com gives the O Show the number 1 spot.
As Jimmy Owens leads all the way at Brownstown for the Jackson 100 victory here tonight.
When you really look at the 2012 season of Jimmy Owens, it's truly remarkable. Not only his 11 wins and the thorough beatdown he gave his competition on the Lucas Oil points chase, but chew on these statistics. He had 12 total second places, 11 on the Lucas Series, the other a runner-up at Cedar Lake. And maybe the most amazing number of all, from February 21st to October 7th, in series races, Owens never finished outside the top 10.
The winner of the 20th annual George Show Me 100 is going to be Jimmy Owens.
But it wasn't only the consistency. He did grab 11 victories, including a May win at Batesville that not only resulted in a $10,000 payday, but a brand new Camaro. The next week, he battled the cushion at Wheatland to grab his second straight Show-Me 100 title.
We held on, got the win, and those guys slipped by me a couple of times, but I guess you got to finish, so that helped.
He capped the points chase with his first ever Dirt Track World Championship at Portsmouth in October to the tune of $50,000, the cherry on top of his title run.
It is. It says a lot for our crew. We've learned so much the past several years just in maintenance programs and how to finish races and how to points race.
And for good measure, he added a $15,000 to win unsanctioned Cotton Pickin' 100 victory to his resume in late October over yet another stacked field in a late season Mississippi event. But the true icing on the cake, and probably the reason he finds himself here, was his total domination of the World Finals in Charlotte in early November. A $20,000 sweep over one of the best fields of the season, driving past Lanigan twice and leaving the country with an awfully strong closing argument.
Final question: are you the best driver in the country?
We had a good weekend.
And how about a $20,000 National 100 win to end his season, giving him 5 victories in a row to finish off the year? All told, it was the victories and downright mind-boggling consistency that placed Owens number 1 on our list of the nation's top drivers.